Welcome to TechbrothersIT. In this video, we are going to learn about how to create SQL instance on GCP, Google Cloud Platform. And then we are going to connect from our local SSMS that I have installed on my machine to the SQL instances that we will create on GCP. Let's go ahead and take a look. First of all, you're going to go and connect to the cloud, console.cloud.google. And once you log in, then you're going to go right here. And here in this blade, what you will search for, you will search for SQL. So this is not just SQL Server. Once you click here, then you are going to see different relational database management systems here. So see right there, once I click here, you see SQL, then you see instances, and it says that create instance or migrate data. We are going to go ahead and say create instance. Once we click on create instance, it's going to give us three options. You will go with the SQL Server, Postgres, and MySQL. Let's go for this one for now, and we will do this two of them in the next demo. Choose a SQL Server. Let's go ahead, and they have only two versions available, SQL Server 2017 and SQL Server 2019. So the very first thing it asks you, hey, you need to enable this API. So it's called Compute Engine API. So we are going to go ahead and enable API. Okay, API is enabled, and you can see right there, that's the message you can see for notification right there, and you can see that enable service compute.google.api.com is enabled. It took almost a couple of minutes to do that. So now we will provide this information. First of all, we will provide the instance name, and I'm going to go with the name called the TechbrothersSQL. So that's our instance name, and then it is asking us the password. If you notice here, it did not ask you any username. So we are going to go ahead and provide the password here. And now what will happen? The username default username is SQL Server, and that's what we will use to connect to our TechbrothersIT SQL instance. Now what we have here, we have SQL Server 2019 standard, and then there are SQL Server 2017. So there are different versions available. So you can see there is Enterprise Edition as well. So they are not going back to 2016 and all that. So you have 2017 and 2019, only two of them available. And here what we are going to do, we are going to go with the latest one, and I'm going to go with the Express because I don't really want to use a standard, and Enterprise is more billing, and I'm not interested in web as well. So I'm going to go for Express for now. So you see the price here is $132 per month. If I will change to the enterprise or standard, the standard is for 540, and then enterprise is going to be more. So depending upon other configuration, you're gonna pay more money. Now let's go with our Express edition here. So we'll pay only $132 or even maybe less, because what we are going to do here, we are going to tell what environment it is. So see right there, choose a configuration to start with. Now there are two flavors they are telling you. There is one production and there is one development. In my case, I'm going to go for development, and you see the price change. So it changed from $132 to the $81 because we are going to use this in development, so that's fine. Now if I will even go here and let me change to the enterprise, and if I will if I'm in development phase, just experiment in that, you see that is 255. But if I will change leave this one here and go to production, you can see this almost double the price. So but you will not be using your this environment probably for production and all that. So you are gonna go for development, and just using the development purpose. Okay, so we will change to the Express. I will say just play with all those things to learn the different pricing and all that. It will help you to understand that. Now what we have next, we will go and configuration details, and here you can see that production and development, the difference between them. So availability, high available, so that's why you are paying more, and it's a single zone in development. So you have 4 vCPUs, and here you have 2. Here you have 26 GB in memory, and here you have 8. And then storage 100 and 100, so that's not a big deal. Automatic storage increase enabled for both of them, and you have automated backups available for both of them, and point and recovery enabled for both of them, and maintenance order later or any. So that's the that different options you have available in production and development. So good to know about that one. Let's go to the next and choose a region. So here you have option. So let's say if you're going for production, you want to go probably multi-zone, high available. In my case, I'm going for development. That's why I just have a single zone. So if you see right there, if I do multiple zones, the price does almost double or more, maybe almost one and a half and all that. So I'm gonna go with the actually it did become double. It was $66, and when I increased it became $132. So I'm gonna go with single zone. I don't care, and I'm gonna go close to my home state. I live in North Carolina, and I'm gonna go South Carolina. So right there, and now we are all good here. You are seeing other information, cost breakdown. If you want to look at that, you can see that one CPU, vCPU, and how much per hour you're gonna pay for that one. So it is almost $30 per month for 24 hours is gonna run, and then you have RAM, and then you have your disk. So this total comes as this much money. So it's good to know, and also you will know the read, write, and all that, and the IOPS rewrites as well. So if you change to production, I'm sure this information is going to change, and that's why you pay more money. Okay, now let's go further. Specify zones, and we already did that here. Primary zone, any, so we don't care, but if you want to select US East and all those different zones for yourself, you can do that, but in my case I'm good with any. Now let's close this one and go further and say show configuration. So here we have a machine type, and if I click here, this is the same information you're seeing right there, 1 vCPU and 3.75 GB. That's the same information, see right there. You can increase if you want, and you see like, I need more vCPUs and more memory, maybe, here memory is same, but vCPUs are changing. So you see the price from $66 to the $96. Let's not worry about that one. Storage, and here you have 100 GB. Now if I will decrease to 20, you see the price is almost $14 less, and I'm good with 20 GB because I'm not doing really anything. Enable automatic storage increase. If you want to increase your storage, you're creating a database and you want to keep writing records, and you want to enable automatic, you can do it, or you can disable. In my case, I'm going to disable because I don't want to overpay. If I load a large amount of file, I want it fail instead of increasing the storage. Now let's go to connection here, and you have all different options here. So here you have instance IP assignment. Private IPs assign an internal Google host VPC IP address. Require additional APIs and permissions. So see this case, what I have to do, I have to have Google hosted VPCs, virtual private networks, and all those kind of things. So I will create a separate video on that one, and then we will do it. But right now I'm going to go with the public IP. So so I can access my SQL server from from a public IP. That's what I want to do that. And here you have authorized networks. You can add it here now, or you can add it later. I'm going to go ahead and add it right now because otherwise it's going to give us error when we try to connect from our SSMS to the SQL. So add network here, and which networks you will want to give permission. So in my case, I'm going to say my home internet or IP. Okay, so I need to provide some IP here. I can do single IP, or just mask it all the way wherever I want. So I can simply go with the range if I want. So here I'm going to go ahead and say what is my IP. So in this case, if I will go here, and this is going to get that's the IP of my machine. Okay, so I'm going to copy this and come back here, and then paste it there. So that's my IP, and we are done here. Now we should be all good to connect to SSMS. And in the authentication right now is SQL Server uses User authentication is available by default. You can also join the instance to the Active Directory domain. So I don't have Active Directory right now, so I'm not going to go with that. So we will just leave by default, and now we have the backups. So it automatic backups, and this is the time range it's going to back up. Here I'm going to go ahead and disable, and I can show you you can turn on and off later on, so that's not a big deal. And then we have a maintenance here. So if you can choose a window here, so any window, or you can tell Saturday, Sunday, or whatever the time you want to have a maintenance for this instance. Now we are all good here, and order of update. So relative to the other instance in this region, I have no idea. Earlier timing is useful for test instance, allow you to see the effect of update before it reaches your production instance. Okay, so if there is any updates happening in the same region, so you can see those kind of things. So I haven't used this part anyways. So now you have flag and parameters, and if you want to change such as correlation, in this case I'm going to go with the general Latin CPI case insensitive AS. So you can change if you're working maybe in Germany or some other region, you want to change to different correlation, you have that option to change it. And then you are here you want to enable SQL Server Auditor. So let's go ahead and enable it. And now once you do that, it's going to ask you where you would like to save those audits. And we are going to go to the browse here. And here, when you go there, it's going to show you buckets. So it is on storage, right? We don't have any bucket created. I'm going to go and create a new bucket. And I'm going to call this bucket Amir bucket. Okay, so that's my bucket name, and inside that bucket name I will go ahead and create some folders. So I'm not going to save anything, and here it says create folder. So now I'm going to say SQL log, and here that SQL log folder is created, and I will select. Now you see that I have created a bucket, and inside the bucket we have SQL log folder where the logs will be saved. You can go to advanced options here and then tell for how many days you want to save the logs. So you have this option, choose how often you upload the logs and all those kind of things, so you can work it through. So I'm going to go ahead and just leave everything as it is, and here I will go ahead and add maybe a label, because it's good to add label with your resources, and I'm going to call it maybe a dev, and then I will say dev server. So dev SQL. Now all those key, and then we have value dev server. Here everything is ready. You can play with that. You have at least walk it through, and now your all the settings is there, and you can create an instance. Most of the time it take between 2 to 3 minutes, maybe sometime more, but yeah, let's see how long it take. So it is creating our SQL instance right now. You can see it is in the creating, and you can see the new dashboard has opened here, and connection to the SQL instance, CPU utilization, and you have all these different tabs here. So let's maybe go over it, take a look while this is creating. So overview is going to give you all those things here. You can do CPU, total memory use, active connections, disk read write, and all other different metrics you can see for your SQL right here. That's pretty cool. And now what you have there, you have a connection to the SQL. A couple of IPs are gonna pop up here, actually one IP, public IP, and then your SQL connection string. Then all the logs are gonna go here, because you're creating a maybe your login failed, or any logs related to the SQL instance, you will be able to see them here. So right now probably there is not a whole lot you can see. So we can see the logs here and all that. Okay, so let's get this. Okay, we can. It is telling us how to use the logs. So we are gonna go back here to our SQL again, and here, but you know where the logs are. It is still working, so I'm gonna just click right there, and now you will be seeing connections, and any connections you are gonna have some information here. Remember that we created the public IP. You added the so we checked mark on public IP. We added the IP of my home computer, and that's how you can come here and I add those. You can have security settings here, allow only SSL connections, and then you have a connectivity test if you want to do it, so that's possible. You have users here, so in this case the only user we have SQL Server, and you can create your own users here and use it. Then you're going to see the databases, and right now there is no databases. There will be 4 databases created when our SQL Server instance is created, so it's a master, MSDB, and all those default databases. We will create one database by clicking connecting to the SSMS as well. Then you have backups here, and here in the backups, what you're going to do, you are going to, if you want to edit the settings, remember that we disable the backups, and you can go ahead and enable it. So you want to go and set up some time and all those kind of things. You can go edit the settings and go from there, and then you finally have operations. So this is the instances we created. So you're going to see some information here, all those like restore databases, created databases, and everything you're going to see right there. And right now let it finish, and then we connect, and we will go over this one real quick once our SQL Server instance is created, and we will be connected by using SSMS. Finally, our SQL Server instance is ready, and you can see right there created, and you can dismiss it or close it from here, and it took almost 7-8 minutes. Now once it's ready, you can see it's a green check mark is there, you can see runnable, and now we have the IP available. So I'm going to go ahead and show you these tabs one more time after this is created, so you can see no difference really here. You go to users here, and then you're going to see these users there. So you're going to see these default users there, and the SQL Server user is there for which we have set up the password. Now go to databases here, and you will see those databases what is always available on SQL Server: master, model, MSDB, and TempDB. Go to backups here, and in the backup, as we have disabled, so you can see right there, you can edit and make changes. You can enable auto, or you can further make changes and schedule it. Now go to the operations, and here you see that this was our instance was created. Now you can see SQL Server 2019 instance. Now let's go to the all instances. If you have more instances there, they're gonna show up right there, and this is how you will see. So you will see instance ID, then type of it, and public IP, private IP if you have assigned, and then you have instance connection name. That's the name of our instance connection, and high availability is not added in this case. Location and storage. Right now there is 20 GB and only 74 GB is used by system databases. You will see the labels here, dev and dev SQL. You can click right there and add those columns if you want, and there are a few more, if you want to go ahead and do it. Let's do that, and you will see those, all of them. So then you have to scroll a little bit left and right. Now in the actions you have edit, create clone, and we will work on these one later, connect VM, and delete them. So let's not worry too much about these ones, and we are gonna go ahead and further work on our SQL here. So what I did here, if you notice, I clicked on the instance, and then I just copied this IP. I went to the SSMS, and here I'm connected to my local server, but I'm going to go connect again, database engine, and here I'm going to provide the IP. Then in the authentication, I will go SQL Server authentication, and my username is SQL Server, and the password is that password I gave. So I'm going to go ahead and connect. You see right there, it connected without any problem, and now you can see that we have databases here, and those databases are system databases, and here master, model, MSDB, and TempDB. Now simply I can go right here, open a new query, and then once I open a new query here, I can create a database, create tables, and query all of that. So let me create one database real quick and show you. We'll create a table and insert some data, and we will be done for the day. So create database TBIT, and then we are going to go ahead and say execute. It's pretty quick, and you can see that the TBIT database is created. I'm going to go back here, go to the databases, and here I should see TBIT right there. So there are not a whole lot of options here. As you can see that I can delete the database from here, or even I can create the database from here as well. So in this case, I will say TechITDB. Okay, so another way to creating the database. So that database is created as well. Now if I go back to SSMS, click here on the databases, refresh button, I will see both databases. Now I don't know if you know how to create the tables and all that. That's not going to be really important here, but you got the idea how to connect your SQL instance that you created on GCP and connect to the SSMS from your local machine. Let's go back and take a look on one more thing. Now, when you create this SQL instance, and sometime, let's say you have not added this, you clicked on public IP, but you have not added your authorized network, you are going to get the error. So in this case, if I will go ahead and delete this one, and now if it is deleted, what's happen? Let's go ahead and save it. Now, most of the time, people miss that to add their IP when they create the SQL instance on the GCP, and then they open the SSMS and try to connect. So see right there, that's the same IP, and they open the SSMS. I'm going to disconnect here and then try to connect again. So no, and then connect, same, and provide the password. And when you do that, it's gonna throw you an error. So you will say like, hey, I have checked on public IP, why I'm getting this error? By just checking on the public IP, it's not gonna let you connect to the SQL instance on GCP. You have to add the network or IP from your machine. So right here, I'm see right there, that's where I'm talking about. In the, you will go to connections, and as of now, if you guys see here, we have disabled or deleted we have the public IP enabled, but we don't have any network added here. That's why we are getting this error in the SSMS. So you see right there, it's you know, that's the error. It's saying named pipe error, error 40 could not connect to the SQL, and error 53. That's what you are getting right there. So the reason is because you have not added the network here. And once you do that, you can my IP or whatever the name you want to give, and then put that IP or list of IPs that range you want to provide, and then you should be all good to connect. So done, and then save, and that's it. That should do it. Now, while we are doing this one and it's saving up, if you see right there, you can see right there, I went to the operations and I can see database created and all those information here, and you can see updated finish instance being updated. So you can see all those operations happening here, you know, but there is all those details available. If I go to the overview, and here I can go further into the logs. Here you can see right there operation and logs. You are seeing this information as well. So if you want to see all operations, you can click right there, and it's going to give you more information, bring you to the operations tab. So if I will go to the overview again, and then we can go further down there and say SQL Server error logs. So right there, if I take you here, and then I know I'm giving you a lot of information in one video. So you can see all those logs here, you know, see right there, parallel redo, shutdown, TBIT, TBIT, TBIT. So there are tons of information, you know, starting up your database. So that's cool, you know, so you can see all those starting a TBIT database here and everything. So you can see, and if there are some errors, you know, you can see that the login failed, the cloud SQL agent that failed. So there are tons of other information you can see. Now, one of the things, remember that we wanted to save all that into the file where the logs files are saved. So I'm going to show you that as well. But before we do that, as we can see, we can go to the SQL here, and I want to take you back because we have added the IP, and now we should be good to connect. Once the IP is connected, added, we should have no problem connecting from the our server. So, but before I do that, I want to show you one real thing quickly. I want to show you that IP we have added. So go to instance here, and then we go to the connections, and in the connections you are gonna see that public IP was check mark already, but this is the IP we have added, so we can connect to our SQL now. So hit connect, and you can see we are connected right here. Okay, that looks great. And then finally, remember that let's visit that storage place. So in down here, you can go further and find storage, or you can just type it up and find the storage. So we go cloud storage here, and in the cloud storage, remember that we have created our bucket, and in the bucket we have created a container, and that's where we said that, hey, save my all that information of SQL logs. So here bucket is there, and now you have a bucket, and the bucket has that folder. So we go to folder, and then all those error logs and all that information can be saved here in case of those logs. So that's what you're gonna do, just in case you want to save all that information for 7 days and everything. And that's what the settings we had. Now we are all good here, and now I hope you like the tutorial here. Please go ahead and subscribe my channel, and I will keep making more videos, and we will explore more about different options here on Google Cloud platform for SQL Server and other databases. Thank you for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video.